guys, Michael. Welcome to Salty World Podcast. Now, it's been a while since I've done a podcast, but it's been Christmas, started a new job, and all that fun stuff. But you know what? Let's start off the year to blast and get going. So, people said they're bored over Christmas break. Tails is done, tournaments are done. No news from LSS. I'm bored. Sad, all that stuff like that. But I wrote this podcast like a week or two ago, and I was thinking, you could never really be bored in trading card games. It depends what your motivation is, right? So what I mean by that is, I'm a player, collector, and maybe I invest a little bit too. I've got a good collection going. So in these boring times, as some people would say, maybe it's boring for gameplay, but I also think it's not boring for gameplay because recently I started a team in Seattle, and we're trying out heroes that we haven't played before or we haven't played in a long time. Because I'm a primarily Katsu player, but I don't know what cards are coming out in Everfest. I don't know what cards are coming out in Q2. So why this time is the boring time, it's time to learn a new hero. So I picked up Viserai. I struggled quite a bit yesterday because I haven't played him in over a year, and I had a lot of fun. But in addition to that is, not only can you explore another heroes maybe they're not used to for competitive play or just to learn, it's also a good time to collect cards right now. Everfest boxes and cards have dropped price quite a bit, and that kind of happens because the calling and national tournaments are done, so that's a really good time to buy. But there's other things too that might be good value out there as well too. I bought Rainbow Foil Commons and Rares off of Mac a week or two ago, probably 3 weeks now. But that had me thinking, I was like, oh cool, I haven't bought from Mac in over a year or two. I did a lot of buying and selling in 2020 and 2021. So I decided to reach out to some of my old contacts, and I don't think it's ever a bad thing. It's good to maintain relationships. So don't always, don't just reach out to people because you want to buy or sell all the time. Sometimes it's good to say hi. But I reached out to an old acquaintance, and I was able to buy more Rainbow Foil Commons and Rares that, aren't necessarily easy to find. Also, I don't typically sell that many cards, but sometimes I do. And someone I made a big trade with in 2020 reached out to me. He said he wanted some cards, and I made a sale. And I typically don't do big sales. There's only a few cards, but that guy did a favor for me in the past, and since me and him already had a previous relationship, I was like, okay, fine, I'll sell my cards to you, help you out. If it was some stranger, because I've had a lot of strangers reach out to me before saying they wanted those cards, and I said no. But since I had a previous relationship with the person, the minor friendship, but nonetheless is not some stranger asking for me, I was able to do a sale. So that same thing goes with too, is like, hey, you might have something really rare, you might not want to let it go, but because you've talked to the person, you've maybe had many communications, you might have played with them online, you're more likely to sell some stuff. I do that sometimes with locals as well too, on a smaller scale. I had a lot of cold foil legendaries from Tails, and then the locals reach out to me and said, hey, I really want to get like a card off you. I wasn't selling it, wasn't on TCG Player. But then I said, okay, yeah, I can help you out. What do you need to buy? They're like, oh, I'm playing in a Armory this week. Great, sold it, no problem. So that's another benefit of relationships too, is maybe you'll do something that you wouldn't do. You might set the trade. You might do a lot of things. So when things are boring, don't be bored. Think about what you can do in your time off. Learn new heroes, build up your collection. When the prices are down because of Christmas, buy some more cards. I got Everfest coming out too. It's always good to pick up more of those boxes. But before Everfest is, who are you speculating on? A lot of kind of stuff. And, I think Monarch First Edition cards are very underpriced. I mentioned before in the past. I picked up some Eclipses and all that stuff in the past. But then I was looking at the Phantasmal Footsteps the other day, and I'm looking at the Valiant Dynamos. Not really that played right now, but you gotta think about is, okay, it's almost time for Monarch numbers to come out soon. I would think maybe March, May timeframe. Who knows exactly when. But I was like, all right, well, the Phantasmal Footsteps are tied to Illusionist, and you got the Warrior cards that are tied to the Valiant Dynamite's tied to Warrior. It's not talent based. So I figured, hey, if I'm going to invest in a card, maybe I'll invest in ones that aren't tied to talents right now, because I know any other warrior, any other illusionist could pick it up. I think illusionist class is fantastic. I don't really play Prism that much, but I played tons of Guild Wars, and Mesmer was always my main class. So I'm hoping for an illusionist that gets my attention in the future. I really like the class-based art of illusionist, but I'm not much of an angel fan myself, so I'm looking forward to some cool other illusionists in the future. So, and that art is some of my favorite art in the game. But with that in mind, as I'm saying, is don't be bored. You got to keep looking at what is out there and what can you do. And the same thing too is this is built up on my things too. Earlier I mentioned about trust is really important. So like building your trust, doing a good job with your shipments, having communication back and forth, and doing multiple sales, multiple trades with someone over time will really help you, build a relationship over time. As again mentioned, is I built a relationship locally with Seattle. I mention that all the time. But then the people you're talking to are no longer strangers. So if you know the stuff selling and buying, you're no longer a stranger and all that too. And you're more welcome to trades, sales, and purchases too. Because one, you're going to trust a person. But two is you want to help them out. And you want to help someone out, that's good. That's great. So that's part of the game. So again, being bored is not really a good option. Think about what you can do in your time off, collecting-wise and all that other stuff. Don't get me wrong, I'm freaking ecstatic, and I'll be more excited about playing again once Everfest comes out. But nonetheless, though, you just got to consider what you can do in time being. It's really easy to complain, and there's nothing wrong complaining, but I try to be really positive and focus on what can I do now to make my life more exciting, what can I do to make the game more exciting, what can I do to make my collection more exciting, what can I do now. So, and same thing too, so you've really got to do that. And I've always mentioned before in the past is you want to have good etiquette and all that stuff too. Very important, again, because that'll help you build your relationships. So guys, I'll be doing more box openings on my channel. I posted one from Christmas recently. That's a little outdated, so no need, that competition's over. But I'll do another competition in May. Maybe I'll give out an Everfest Legendary or something like that. Who knows? But I'm going to start doing more video content, box openings, and all that. And looking forward to 2022. Hopefully we get a lot of new cool sets, new heroes, PvE, and all that stuff. Alright guys, have a good one. Bye.